going to spend some time here talking about file extensions and getting these files to do what we want them to do. A file extension is a little tag at the end of the file that tells the computer what kind of file it is and how it should read it. Without this, we cannot get files to function. In web design, the main file extension we're going to work with this semester is .html or .htm, either or. So I have a demonstration here right now. I have this file here named GG. Notice how these other two files have .html after it. Let me show you what I typed in GG real quick. I typed in a link. This is actually how you make a link, as you'll learn later. And it should, when it's done, just have a little blue link that says click here. But I do not have the .html extension on it. So when I go to type it in, and there it is, it's just the literal text right now. It just reads it like a text document. So what I can do is I can go and put that extension after it. Oops. I want to do the rename thing. So all I have to simply do is put .html after it. Now, granted, it has to have HTML coding in it. But now when I try to go to that website, there's a link, and it works. Although it goes to my site that has nothing. So file extensions are very, very important. In web design, here, I'm going to go into, real quickly, I'm going to go into three different programs and show you it. I'm going to go first into Expression, our main web editing site. I'm going to show you all the different extensions, excuse me, that a website can do. So I go up to File, New, and if I go to Page, each one of these has a unique extension after it. So if we look up here, it's Untitled1.html. If I go to save this website, File, Save As type, it already has the option, has a bunch of different options for me. I can save it as web pages, HTML files. That'll do the exact same thing. They'll both end in .html. But then you get into some other file extensions that we're not exactly going to do right now, including just saving it as a text file. So there's a lot of different things we can do. We're going to just stick with web pages. I'm just going to call this test page. And now you see it's testpage.html. So when we deal with file extensions, I could go and I'll create another one we're going to create this semester. You can see here is .css. If we do a JavaScript one, it's .js at the end of the file name. So this is telling you what kind of file it could be. Another popular one is this .xml. So these three are the main ones we're going to work with this semester though. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or JS. Another place that extensions are huge, and you're going to learn about this when we do Photoshop, is within pictures. Save as. We have all these different picture types, and this doesn't even scratch the surface. The Photoshop book covers a ton of picture extension files. So anytime you name your picture, you can save it as a different type. JPEG, GIF, PNG, bitmap, etc. And each one acts a little different too. For example, PNG never accounts for the other place's background. It just puts whatever colors over on top of an image. So that's pretty handy sometimes if you're trying to get one image over to another. Let me go into Photoshop real quick and see if we can look at this. It may take a second to load. I'm going to also show you the extensions from all the Microsoft applications as well when we're done here. Photoshop's a little unique in the sense that when you go to File Save As, it originally saves it as a project, but that's the same place where you save it as a picture as well. So, my example here, do I need to pull in something? Yeah, let me open up something real quick. For those wondering, that's me and my girlfriend. I'll pull up this picture of her. Bam. Okay. File, save as. Now, I have these options here of all the different types of files I can save this as. The top one is Photoshop. That means save it as a Photoshop project. And then everything else is a different kind of picture it could be. You could even save it as a PDF file, which is supposedly an uneditable file. So there's a lot of different ways you can save a picture. The most common is JPEG, bitmap, PNG. GIFs are pretty popular too. I'm going to also go into Word real quick and show you that. You go to File, Save As, and this new version has some different options. I'll just save it to my documents. You look at all the different ways you can save a Word document. Some of them cross over. You could, or you used to be able to program an HTML file in Word. They've kind of gotten away from that. No, they haven't. You can still save it as a web page. There it is. Or an XML file, which we're not going to cover what that is this semester. But the main two you use in Word is either Word document, Word 97 to 2003 document. The difference there, I'll talk about that real quick. The difference there is in a Word 2007 or later document, the file extension is docx. So any version of Word 2003 or earlier cannot read the docx extension. That was their way to try and get people to buy their program again. Word 2003 and earlier has the extension of just .doc. So that's why a lot of places still just try to save files as .doc. Not so much anymore, but back when it first came out, lots of people did that because not everybody had the newer version of Microsoft. Pretty much by now, a lot of places do have that newer version. So, long story short, that's all the file extensions and how they work. So, you want to make sure, if your website isn't working, one of the first things you want to check, make sure you have a file extension, or if your picture isn't working, make sure you have the proper file extension. One other thing I want to show you in this video is if I go back to here, notice how there are no spaces in my names. They're short and sweet. If I go up to images and then the happy, there's no spaces in the names. For your sanity, please never, never, never put spaces in the names of the websites or the things that you're naming. Reason being, it causes a lot less headaches when you're trying to call for it. So if you got a bigger picture and you want to, or if I got a huge file name, well, let me do that. Nope. There we go. I got a huge file name that is supposed to be like a sentence. Do not use, yeah, I said that. The kitty is cute.html. Do not use spaces in between. Just keep it all one word and keep it a lot simpler for yourself. And that there in brief is file extensions and naming files.